In Sabah Borneo, just outside the small Malaysian town of Kudat, is a tiny one-room museum. Despite its size, this museum can tell you all you'd ever want to know about the past of the Indigenous Rungus people who live in the area. That's because it is dedicated to recounting their history, traditions and customs. But the Rungus people themselves don't visit the museum. They're too busy living in the present. Kudat sits at the northern tip of Borneo, surrounded by the Sulu Sea. Life here is much the same from one day to the next. That life revolves around fishing. And while most of the town's other industries are operated by ethnic Malay and Hakka Chinese, almost everyone working in the fishing industry is Rungus. They are mostly Muslims, even though the surrounding district is mainly Christian. They are concentrated in the old part of Kudat, which has two harbour areas. These areas are micro-communities where everything that happens is in some way connected to fishing. Boats are constantly setting out for their next catch, but if you stay around long enough, you'll also see them unloading their latest catch. As soon as the boat is tied up, the whole crew springs into action, loading the fish onto trucks ready for the nearby fish market and distribution to small villages and restaurants throughout the district. You soon come to realize that anyone working these boats comes from a long line of Rungus fishermen. Many of Kudat's fishermen actually live on their boats. When they're not out at sea, crew members can be seen cleaning and performing maintenance work, relaxing, and even hanging laundry out to dry. Turning our attention away from land and out to water, we see plenty of small craft coming and going as they fish and trawl the shallow depths of the harbour. Although not as noteworthy as the larger boats that navigate all the way out to the Sulu Sea, these smaller vessels are still a fascinating sight. If you wait for one of them to dock and talk to the owners, they'll tell you more about the Rungus people than any museum ever could. You should also explore the ancillary businesses that support the fishing industry. These are mainly small restaurants and food stalls, although there's also a small outdoor market. They are run by friendly Rungus people who can give you insights into their daily life. Something they may share with you is that they once operated 24 hours a day. With the recent economic downturn, though, demand no longer justifies it. The second harbour area is smaller and is best visited in the early morning or even late at night, as there's still plenty of activity to soak in even after dark. Here you're likely to see local men fishing with lines. This is not commercial fishing. They are simply hoping to catch that night's dinner for themselves and their family. Despite a thriving fishing industry, Kudat district is one of the financially poorest in all of Malaysia. A sad sight in Kudat is the plastic bottles that float all over the harbour. Many of these bottles are tossed into the water by the fishermen. Even if they don't understand the impact to the environment, it's hard to believe they wouldn't know the impact to their livelihood and their financial future.